Hello, friend. If you are excited to dive into a story of Transporter 2 2025 in English, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. It really helps to enjoy out. And if you are a new here, subscribe the button and click join a community and love exploring the best movie. Let's get started. Our story is begin in the sunny Miami, where everything seems calm. The sky is blue, the streets are clean, and luxury car moves smoothly across the roads. If here I meet a man named Frank, he cute and serious and live in a strong code. He doesn't talk much, but when he speak, people listen. He used to be a transporter, someone who deliver a package without asking question, but now he has taken a different job. Franks now work as a driver for a rich family. His main job is to take a little boy named Jack to form a school. Jack is the son of the government officials and his father always busy. Well, this story is very interesting. While your starting point is completely changed, well, if you are thinking this is the ordinary story, then grab your chairs and pick up the popcorn in front of you because I explain the multiple things about the fact reviews and everything. Let's get started, guys. Don't be lose anything. This scenes and everything I will explain it according to the legal procedures. Well, Frank his luxury cars and everything. Well, and his parent always be busy. Over the time, Frank's become close to a boy. He cares for him and protect him and treat like him like a family. Everything is going fine until one day something terrifying happened. Terrible. While one morning, while Frank is with Jack, some feel of a group of a people show pretending to be a doctor, but they are not because they are not looking like a doctor always be a very kind persons. They are part of a plan and an evil plan. Before the Franks can wreck, Jack is taken away and kidnapped just like that. For here, the story changed completely. It's no longer a simple job. It become a mission to save a boy and stop something much bigger. Frank is just dealing with the kidnapper. He find himself a face a global threats, a virus deadly and fast spreading, and the people behind it are not ordinary criminal. They are the smart and dangerous and ready to kill. Frank started chasing a clues. He drive a light speed through the streets and he light off enemies. The amazing movie. He break into the secret place and risk his life. All get closer to the truth, but the time is running out. If the does not act fast, and the only will Jack be in dangers, but soon will me others. As the dig deepers, he learned that the kidnapper was just be a beginning. The real plan is to use the Jack and spreading the virus. High-ranking government officials. It's all a part of the terrorism plot of to down a power and control. Jack is being son of the government man. It's just a perfect target. The Frank has to become quick decisions. He can't trust any people, even some law enforcement agents, and seem suspicious. He work alone most of the time, using their own skills to stay ahead. He car become his weapon. He fears become his defense, and his mind become his stronger tool. One of the most exciting part of this story is when Franks go head to head with a female assassin. She cold, stylish and deadly. Her job is to make sure the virus plane succeed. But the Franks stand in front where the fight scenes are intense. Every punches, every kicks, every crash feels real and full of energy. There also a scene where the Franks discover that Jax already has been infected. This moment hit hard. its show. The Frank's emotionally sides is just about a tough guy. He actually care. He has to find the antidote fast. He risks his own life to get in, even they means facing dozens of enemies alone. As the star reaches its final stage, the action gets even more thrilling. There was a high-speed car chasing on a highway with where the Frax use a driving skill has. Then there was moment where they drive his car off a ramp and spinning through airs, and it wild, crazy, and impossible. But somehow he pulled it off. But really, keep in hook is just a action. It's a race with against the time. Every moment matter. Every choice Frax make his cost, and the people behind the warriors wasn't be stopped unless someone stand up to them. There always be twist you wouldn't be see coming. People who seem innocent turn out a part of a plan. The truth is broken, the secrets are revealed, and just when you think Franks has lost, he become back stronger. He is not a superhero. He's a bloody, he's a false, and never give up. In the end, everything calmed down and finally mission stopped. The virus spreading and save the child, and the tension is high. The enemies are everywhere, but the Franks with the heart and skill proves he more than just a driver. He's protector, a fighter, and someone who never leave a job unfinished. Well, these things is very interesting about this movie. Frank is a man of a few words. He doesn't like a drama and doesn't like get involved in other people's problem. He's just about jobs and does it well. In the past, he used to deliver a dangerous package for all kind of a people. He followed the strict rules, no names, no questions, and no open package. But things are different now. He has take a quicker job and now live in a Miami and beautiful city where the bright skies, fancy houses, his jobs, and drive a young boy named Jack to and from schools. Just Jack is just 6 year old and cheerful and full of a question. His father is a powerful government official. I told in before about starting this. The Franks was a black suit driving a shiny black Audi. The Audi is always be in the hand of a Frank. Frank is loves the Audi. Well, always be right exactly on time. Every morning, Jack pick up and take him to school and bring his home. At first, it's just a routine. It's a normal Franks and Jack is just build a bond. The Frank is very emotional. He is just starting a care for a boy. Jack see Franks as a more than a driver. He's like a superhero, calm and strong, and always be control. One morning, the everything is changed. Like I told you, the previous one, the everything is changed in sense of like the kidnappers and doing. They are kidnapping heroes. Well, I believe this thing is very suddenly everything changed. The Frank sound like a soft clicks. Well, trust me, this movie is very interesting. Frank is standing the truck watching a helicopter disappear in the sky. The man who had started all this, he had created deadly virus who kidnapped the little Jack. He was getting away, but the Frank isn't going to stop. His mind about was racing. He knew there was no time to waste. The doctor was still working on the antidote, but isn't really ready. Jax was getting weaker by hour. This virus was inside him, the slowly moving through his body. The Frax knew that if the Jack is touch anyone, especially his father and the other government officials, it could be started a chain reactions. Maybe a life couldn't be lost. He needs more answer. He need to stop a plan before it too late. Well, this movie is very interesting. Yeah, well, I told you this movie is very interesting. How is it interesting? this is the ordinary story. No, guys, I review about this movie. Like, this movie is giving us a very unique idea. What's the idea and what's the lesson for this movie? The kidnapper is just not an ordinary person. He created a deadly virus that can destroy all over the world. But the Frank is just not a stoppable person. He knew how to stop it. Well, the Franks, remember, the name has been seen on the folder using his last mission is belonging to a man who once worked as a terrorist. The man had left a group afraid of what they are doing. The Franks tracked him down, hiding a small apartment outside the city. When Franks arrived, the man was scared. He didn't walk to talk, but the Franks explained what they are happening, the virus, the boys, and the rangers, and the man finally opened up. He said a virus was made by the suppression fastly and silent. The real target was not only a one man. The plan was to infect many high levels officials at a chance during upcoming international conference. These are the people who stake ahead and closing and document. They would be returning to their own countries, carrying the virus with them and globally disasters. And the Jacks is only start. But there was only the hope. The scientists who had made this virus had also created a cure, but one dose. The problem was the only copy of the antidote was being kept in a heavy guarded location, hidden by the group of a leader. The Frank now had a new goal. He need to get an antidote and had need to fast. The location was a private boat, the luxury jets, and moving along the coast and from away from the city. The villain had escaped by their helicopter. Now he's holding the cure and waiting for a virus to do its job. The Franks couldn't let it happen. He raced back into his cars and made a few quickly calls and starting the chasing. The roads were busy. The police were everywhere. Were even look at from Franks blaming him the mess, but the Franks stay one stop ahead. He draw his alliances over a bridges, even a jump. His cars are wrapped at one point, flying through the air before landing to another road below. His driving isn't just fast, he's smart and use every trick in his book. At one point, the group of line crushing their tires and block and thinking he was an enemy, but the Frank didn't fight them, but he just survives past avoiding them. He stay focused on the mission. When they reach the ducks, the yet reservoir from away, but Franks doesn't stop. He found a small speedboat, took a control and began chasing and digger boat and crossing the water waves and splash engine rotor the wind below hard and but Franks are doing. As he got closer, the Gemini's spurred on yet tried to stop him, but bullets are fused across the water. Well, this thing is very interesting about the movie. You never be missed about that kind of the movie while you're watching. Go to the nearest cinema and must watch this scenes and movie. Believe me, you never forget these scenes. The action, the thrilling, the interesting moments, while the emotional touch with the Jack and Frex. Well, I believe this movie he have a different kind of the energy while you're watching. You are sitting on a chairs and you are unable to move, like you are not able to clutch in your eyes, like you are unable to blink your eyes. You are continuously watching on the screen and you never think about any popcorn, your convocation, your partner. Even you are the person who is just sending to nearest screens while you are watching. This thing is very interesting about the movie. Well, I get the multiple reviews from different peoples while I'm watching this movie in a cinema, and I come out from a cinema, I talked to a different people. They are saying I never see like that time. It is a 2020, 2025, and this movie is 2005. Eventually 20 years the difference, but today the same movie have a same energy. After a 20 year later, this movie have a very like actionable. Everything is very perfectly, the tomography and everything, chromatography, like everything, like a this movie is specially designed for people who are watching action and thrilling and like suspension movie. Every time when they kidnap and the Franks and Jacks, they are in a complication, their family and the scenes and the visuals, everything is very interesting while you are watching this movie. Well, I believe this movie have very action. And let's move to the next part. Inside, yet the same. The villain smiled. He didn't see the Franks as real threats, but the Frank didn't come to talk. He attacked with the full of force, and two men's tough fight across the room. The table swept, and chairs broke, and knife are thrown, and gun was kicked away. It was a tough fight. The villain was strong and trying to dangerous. Well, this scenes, this just imagine these scenes. Not be considered this movie and everything. They're just talking about. Just imagine the scenes what they are happening in the movie while you are watching in the real theater and the official website, and you never miss these things like the villain smile. What's the thinking about Frank? Frank didn't see as a real threat, but Frank doesn't come to talk. He just attack. He just put the hand on the other mouth, like kicked and every like fired. Mirrors are broken, the chairs are crashed, everything is like a fighting. You are in an area where everyone is fighting each other. The scenes is very, the visuals and the cameramans, everyone are doing a very hard work. Wow, these things I believe is very interesting about this movie. But the Frank is something more and determinations. Every time he got kicked out on, he stuck up back. Every punch is took and he returned harder. Well, this thing is very interesting. The Franks has put the hand on their mouth and like different part of the body. But eventually the villain is very strong. He get up very fastly, and after finally had a very painful fight, the Franks win. The Frank are very smart hero and he know how to fight very properly. Then after a very long fight, the Franks wins. They are garbage at the antidote and run back to the speedboat. The yacht was already catching fire from a light and jump into water just about the explosions. This little boat is right as risky skyboy. The Frank is returned to the cities, and the antidote is in had a rush at the hospital where the Jack was laying a weak and pale. Well, the condition of the Jack is very complicated. While they are getting the virus by the villains, it's very complicated. I believe these things is very terrifying for this. The doctors quickly give us shots and everything. Waited sank it past the minutes. The slowly Jacks breathe and come normal. His color returns and opens open eyes and smile. Is doing to okay. The parent cried. The doctor signed with the relief, and the Franks finally allow him to breathe. But there are still more to doing. Eventually, this movie is very interesting, but you are looking in the room, their door is open, so I believe you should close the door. Maybe the voice is come into the mic, and these things is very interesting about this movie. Don't forget, these things is very interesting. Well, this movie is very interesting and you never forget about this movie. While you are watching, you are like in the different world. Believe me, this movie is very interesting. So let's move our next point. This movie is very meanwhile the woman who had help with the kidnapper, the one and guns and gold hat was still out. Well, the movie are escape on a different area. I believe you wasn't be look that kind of the movie. The Frank's Foster was Foster. He is knocked by a gun away by block every move and finally took her down, and she was arrested and taken away. With the villain gone, the virus stopped, a boy saved, the child could finally reset. A few days later, the Frank visited the Jacks, and the boy was smiling and back to the cheerful self. And his parents thanks the Franks again and again. The Frank didn't want want the thanks. He just nodded and smiled a little and say goodbye. He returned to his car and fixed clean all more and starting engine and put the sunglasses and drove off into the bright after. No one knew where he gone next, but Franks never stay in one place for a long. Somewhere someone couldn't need this help again. And when they did, and he could ready. Well, Frank is a kind of the person who doesn't need to stay much. When he's talking a room and people can feel the presence and the climbs and everywhere is control. Nothing seems to stake it and not loud voice under the big threads, even a speeding a bullets and watching everything around the carefully, always be planning his next move. Some might be thinking about the cold and destiny, but it doesn't. It could be how the feelings is easily at the Frank seems like just a driver is in black suits and keeping his car spotless, and the few of the follow rules and like a soldier is doesn't just a joke or owning is a complaint. It's just about a job, and the more time is spending as Jack, the boy is hard as a perfect, and the more sees the real side is just about doing this money for truly care. Well, the Franks is as on more mode of the story are very essential, but we are scenes the story has a different aspects like the fighting and the scenes and the dangerous views point. So I believe this movie have a very unique, the spotless car and carrying his jobs and everything making his money is about very powerful, and they are like a young agent beyond the protection of a child. Well, he's not actually that kind of the person. He's not just ordinary driver. He's a very professional, like a agent. Well, he is in the black suit and he present a very sensible and professional person about the professional driver, but actually he's not like that type. He's something smarter, and they are holding a car like a Audi. He's love Audi cars, but actually he's a very unique hero. Frank is on moral code, is believe in doing what right even they are in danger. What the Jacks kidnap, he doesn't wait for an order. He doesn't run away. He is immediately jump into the actions, not because it's job, because it's right to do things. Well, this message is represent Frank is just not an ordinary driver. He is a person who is believing on the humanity. While they are seen his just only a duty to pick a child and deliver at an area where he is going to school. Well, home to school just his own work, but eventually the kidnapper do kidnap Jack. Then he's just don't wait any orders, and he not calling his boss. The boss is a government official, the Jack's father, but eventually he's not focused about this. Immediately in the action fighting and not just waiting. It's not his job, because it's his inner soul is just like he's doing a right. There are moments when they are find out the virus has injected to the Jack. Well, after a very long time, Jack search out the Frank search out the Jack. Finally, when he reached the area where Jack is kidnapped, a room, and finally he looked to him, and but the Franks is too late. The virus is in the body of a Jack. What's the virus? Virus is injected by a villain to a Jack. The climate become more focused, even more dangerous. Well, after he seen the Jack in the threat, he is very emotional. He is not just fighting to just win. He's doing his right work. He's fighting to save a life of a Jack, because he's feeling something friendship, like the like if we are occupy a one dog at a home, after a few months we feel like something feeling about a dog. Like the same is things human. While you are spending a lot of time together, while Jack going to a school, he spent a lot of time in a car with Franks. That time the friendship is based, and he's now just not just only the driver, he's now more than a driver, he's saver of Jack's. Well, these things is very interesting about this movie. Even the people don't trust him, and even the police suspect him. The Franks keep moving, doesn't waste the time to try and explain himself. Well, after the everything and kidnappings is happening, the policemen and everyone is thinking about the same, the kidnapping, and behind the kidnapping is a Frank. But eventually he's not focused on anyone, he's just preparing to fight with and uh, release from Jack from the kidnapping. He's doing a very good job. While the full of the honors with the good hearts, is there when there the Jack is a young boy full of life questions and smiling. He's just talking about asking why. At the first, Frank find a little annoying, but the slowly you get used to, and Jack's a light in Frank's world, and the world is used to full of the dangers, rules, and silence. But the Jack is innocent. It doesn't. While the movie is very interesting. The government official have a one child is named as Jack. I explained the whole story about that, but. The Jack is considered not be a normal life like smiling and walking on ground and playing a football and cricket, but eventually they are not doing these things because they are always be time of their life is always been a trader. Because the father is a grammar official, the same kidnapping and everything just because happening of his father is the same things about this. Well, I believe this movie is very interesting while you are watching on the theater and the official websites. There are something special in the why Jacks is Franks is wounds the minds will be protected them and return, and the Franks treat the Jacks are kind of the respectable and adults good children's. He's talking to him as a strange, nobody talks, as no lies, and beyond the become hearted of the story. Jack's mother's Andrea is another important figure. She's as elegant as gently and full of the worry. Her life is seemed to protect from the outside. The beautiful house and the powerful husband, but you can tell me she is feeling a lonely. Well, this thing is always happen with the women, while the men's are always busy in their works. And if your husband is a government official, then they are expecting he don't have a lot of time. Is always be in an area where the government officials are very busy on the work, like sometimes the threat in the country. So their government officials focus on the kidnappings and everything. They don't focus about it's just given the security's child, but eventually they are not be worked at. The Jack is a very trained and very secret agent, like secret agencies sense that know about the fighting and everything about this movie. Well, I consider that this thing is very heartbreakable. The feeling of the child and the feeling of the mother is very changed because his child Jack is under kidnapping. While I believe that these things are very dangerous about this movie. Not about this movie, this kidnapping is very dangerous for the child and for government officials. In some moments, the Andrea same the presence and the Jax is kidnapped and she broken heart and respect, but she is also strong in her own ways. She never gave the weight and standing up as one person to the police and never moves fast, and everything is a mother going to do it. His affairs is real, but his love is also very strong. Her husband is Jennifer's and the high level of the government official man. He's a smart and powerful and always be busy and does not show him much emotions. Even their sons is in the danger and doesn't fully trust all the facts. He doesn't want to done with the official channels, but the story is going on. The beginning at the scenes of there's the realization of facts of not just of enemy. Well, we are blaming of this movie is entirely different from the scene. It's considerably the dangerous scenes are not be like dangerous. I believe this movie is very sensible making all the videos. The mother is very worried about his Jack says the son or sons are very precious for every moms. Well, they are in the kidnapping. She is not able to speak and not able to. A very careful women are turned into the very dangerous. I believe these scenes and everything is entirely different. So Please focus about the scenes and the visuals. What I explaining about this movie, it's just not an ordinary thing. It's a movie with the full of the energies and everything. You'll not be missed out any point. The Jennifer is a man controlled by the duties and the family's work is important, but is keeping the Tennessee's love for the Jack is really does not show always. Well, by the end, they were seen inside the Jacks and strengths of the West and cross control become Laura. She's a woman with the red lipstick, high heels, and matched with the guns in her hand. From a moment she appears and clear, she's dangerous. She doesn't blink when she's shooting. She does not flinch. She's fighting. She's moving like a shadow, cold, fast, and ready to kill. But Laura isn't just a villain. She's a symbol of something different. While your others talking about planes, she's act and she seemed to enjoy the violence as given a power, and she wear a stylish cloth and everything about scam dangerous, and she didn't speak much but her eyes is always be watching. She kind of a person who make you nervous even you're smiling. Still there is something strange about her. She's royal to her boss. She follow every rule orders, but there are time you are wondering if she is doing and himself is different. Maybe the enjoy control. She want to know about the time. The proof she is more than a just pretty face with the guns, and she fight fractions, not just battle of the strength, but isn't battle of a will. She seems frank as a challenge, and that's why she keep coming back and try to win. The Jennings is a real mastermind. He's claim rich and breathless and speak a soft tone, but the plans is terrifiable and thinks he's not loud and anger. He does not shoot. They're making a censor and believe in his mission. He is thinking right him and spreading a virus and the news faster, and there something dangerous. Well, these things are very interesting about this movie. Is always be games with the people who he kidnapping Jacks, not be send his back and talking about Franks with a fake smiles and try to act a friend eventually, because the words and the poisons they he wants a power he control, and he doesn't care. He needs to get it. The Chinese think the Frank is just a small problem, but the Franks keep getting closer. The finding Clove, winning the fight and saving the life. Jenny start to losing the control. His perfect plans begin to fall apart. By the end, when they run and hiding, you can see the fear is just as strong. Is pretended to be there. Also, are Tarkin and the French inspector who is Franks from the past. Yours as a touch of the humor. The story is always crucial. Is also talking about Clemson's but the belief in Franks. Even there are other doubt did him. Tarkin help to a small but important ways. He's just not kind of a man who's jumping into the fight. He's use his brains, find information and distraction the police and support the Franks behind the scenes. The friendship is quite strong and clear. They are has been found out before. The each character in the story play the important part. Some people are good, some are bad, some are between. But what that make it interesting is for real they feel. They all have affairs, goals, and moment of a change. No one has a flat as symbol. Even the side character, the fake doctors, the guards, and the scientists add layers to the story. Some are action, some of for a drama, but all of them is pushing us forward. At the center of all your Franks, a man who's being a story is alone, just doing a job, and having a risky everything of the child as saver. He doesn't ask for a rewards. He doesn't stay at the dinner like a shadow in the sunlight. Well, you look at the scenes and everything is just about the visuals. I believe these things are very interesting. Frequencies waterfalls and never does. They are making words even in a story feels intensive, and because of the trouble find a way from starting. Everyone looks smooth and cute jobs and Miami and sunny place for a cold to use to know it's not a assembling of a package anymore, or working for a shadow client. Now you are just driving a little boy to school bag, but nothing stay as simple for a long. The cabinet of the jack is a search event change at the glances of things. Well, I believe these scenes are very interesting about this movie. Imagine the stepping into the sun and dreary streets of Miami, where the fast-paced movie has throughout a life and heat was intensity. The energy was more so. These things are very interesting about the movies. I believe you must enjoy the moments of feeling starting and everyone new would be right, full of action, spirit, and correction. Well, the director Louis Letrons and a clear vision. He want to make a film that was just about a big, the cold and stars clashing and destroying the cars and the fast-moving stories. Even the second counter, Miami, with is a bright skies and the palm trees and wasn't drawbacks. It seemed a character itself, full of the energy of dangers and little bit of the magic. The crowd worked and the capture the vibe of racing against times and whether to get the perfect shoot. One of the things about the production about the and then star John Smith was unlikely. Many actors keep safe distance from the risky turns. Johnson himself in the action is insisted doing almost all his own shots, and something change about the authorities and make the fights and clear choice escape for a real, because this is sometimes ending up with the brushes and pull of the muscles. Even a few on the particular wild shots involve the Jason jumping into the back of a moving bus from a jet ski. This bus was moving fast, about 30 miles per hour, and there was no safety wires and rigs to catch him. If they slipped, their crew held to breath and pulled off. But it is a clear and knew all the dangerous it was. He even given God and sharple his waist during the explosion scenes, showing there are real or raw action couldn't get. The rule of Freckle Martin, the cool and controlled rivers, and the maid is Johnson in the middle, Louis Bissons, and the writer and the producer knew the Jones skills in the material art and boxing, and they bring something special to chromographer and Korean spent weeks to training Johnsons and Shudder teams. In this scene, we are like a very cute silence. I need like in this movie need a very silence about the helping the nails and the complication about the movie, creating beds and something fighting even everyday objective of a weapon like chair and a metal pipe, and adding the fresh and their invention to the action. The music also play a huge part in making the movie exciting, and the composer Alexander Harrison and work closer to the director to create a soundtracks and felt like a ticking clocks, and the magic isn't just a background noise, it's about tension and urgency, make it a very clear chasing and fight scenes like a race against time. Well, the cars used to a movie were another important part of the production that mainly used as Audi. Well, Audi is the very unique car. I believe that. While you are thinking about Audi in the movie and you are drifting and everything, is Audi A8. Those are sleeky black luxury car become Frank Martin's signature ride, and but the teams is only three of these cars of the shunt chasings. and on the very first day of the filming one car was broken down. Oh, these things is very dangerous about the cars. While Audi A8 is destroyed at the first day of the movie. Well, this thing is very sad about the movie. This was the big problem because the movie look depend a lot of smooth and fast vehicle. The director joked later, if anyone found a random Audi engine somewhere else in Miami, it might be one of there. The weather isn't always friendly either. The Miami is the summer storms ruled, and through the during shooting bring heavy rains, and there are multiple complications about while you are making the videos. Well, if you're love to my reviews and effect of a movie, then please subscribe my YouTube channel and click the bell icon. This thing is very helping to grow in on the YouTube, and please click the bell icon and please like my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for listening, watching everything.